welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be setting up my September bullet journal spread, and this month's theme is dark academia. I thought this theme would be perfect because September is the first full month of my first semester of grad school, and since dark academia is all about higher education and everything, literature, I just thought it was very fitting since I am going in as a literature major. I am using the Reverie watercolor bullet journal in Coral Pink, I think it's called, from Mellow Days. And let me tell you, I am so in love with this journal. For the longest time, I've been craving the feel of actual pages because, as you know, if you're an avid bullet journaler, most journals are 160 GSM paper, but it's pretty stiff since it's just, it's regular paper. And since this is textured, this journal is actual cold press watercolor paper, so it feels like paper and it's thick enough to actually paint on without any warping or bleed through or any other of that. So as you can see here, I am working on my cover page. The look that I was going for was basically just like a old wall that you would find at like in a old school building or like a Victorian house, in the window looking outside to like a dark sky. I had a lot of technical difficulties while I was filming this setup, so I actually changed my cover. You got a little small preview in the beginning of the video, but I actually painted over this window that I'm painting right now, and just did a little collage that fit the whole academia vibe, the dark academia vibe. And on top of the collage, I also sketched out a chandelier. A lot of the reference photos that I saw on Pinterest for dark academia had it would show the notebook of like supposed students, and it would have like a lot of sketches over all the text and stuff like that, and that's what I was going for with the sketching of the chandelier in the cover page. And you'll get a better look at it towards the ending of the setup. Like I said, my camera shut off as I was filming the last spread, and I didn't notice, so I finished the whole bullet journal without actually recording it. So my color scheme, I wanted to lean towards like my color scheme is a bunch of dark neutrals, so I was going for like a dark foresty green and browns and stuff. One of the main reasons why I painted over this window was because I felt like it was a little too colorful. What I had in my head didn't translate so well onto the cover page. I also felt like it was a little out of place compared to the rest of the journal since I have a lot of collaging throughout the rest of the setup. This was my first technical difficulty. As you can see, I already have the other side of the spread done and I finished with the painting. For some reason, before I even color corrected this specific shot, the lighting, even though I didn't change the lighting, the video just came out a lot darker, so I tried fixing it as much as possible, but it just ended up looking like this, I guess. And as you can see, I started making a collage. I have this really old copy of the Scarlet Letter, and normally I don't rip apart books, but this one was already falling apart, so I just took advantage of that and used it for the collage parts of this setup. And I liked that it was already a Gothic novel, so it really helped fit into the aesthetic. Going back to the other side of the spread, this is a brown color pencil, but like I said, I tried color correcting it as much as I could, but it just wasn't working. But I used the brown on top of the watercolor to try to make it look more old and dark, kind of like the dirty wall type situation. And it worked. You just can't really see it because of the video. Off camera, I decided to sketch a skull on the page on the spread on the left, and I'm gonna be doing that a lot throughout this setup because you know, that's actually part of like the dark academia aesthetic. Like, I'm really glad I added in that little element just because it helped basically, in my opinion, darken the mood. My next spread is my calendar and habit tracker spread. I'm using the same layout that I have been using since July, where I cut a Dutch door and put my video checklist in the back of the Dutch door next to the habit tracker. I've been liking the setup a lot. As I mentioned in my other videos, I don't really need a big spread for my video tracker, so I finally figured out a way to have it to incorporate it into a spread that just made sense for me. As you saw, I flipped through the Scarlet Letter. I flipped through the book to find the right pages because this is a very annotated edition, and not by me. I bought this used and I loved the annotations. And since, you know, dark academia is all about education and learning and everything like that, I felt like that added like a really cool element, and the fact that it's someone else's notes too just made it, I don't know, I just thought it was pretty cool. And I couldn't find my glue stick, so I'm using actual liquid glue, and this paper is thick enough for watercolor, but I guess glue was just a little too much because it did warp a little, but now that the pages are dry, the pages are fine, like it's not warped anymore. If anything, I should have waited till the glue was fully dry before I continued making any other steps in the setup, because it really did affect it a lot in a sense. But if you're using like a liquid glue, I always advise just to let it dry before you continue on with your project, because it really does affect it a lot. Here I'm using a dark green Tombow, but again, because of the whole color situation, you can't really tell what color it is. And now I'm using my typewriter stamps for the days of the week. And I love this little element because a lot of the reference pictures from Pinterest, I saw a lot of typewriters, and I just love how it fits perfectly in the setup. This color that I'm using for the corner of the calendar, it's a dark brown. Here I royally messed up the numbers. September starts on a Wednesday, and as you saw, I started the calendar on a Monday and completely miscounted. So I basically went back and just blackened out all the numbers, and I go back with a white acrylograph and make the numbers, fix my mistake basically, but with a white marker. And now I'm working on the Dutch door part of my setup. This Dutch door is where I have my this month section. Because this calendar is pretty small, I basically just put symbols on the actual calendar and write all the important stuff in that section, if that makes sense. So this is where the color correction gets better, and as you can see, I sketched in another skull in the corner of my calendar. As you can see in the corner, I wrote September as my header, but that's actually going to change as well, so I didn't really focus on doing it. I replaced it with a vintage sticker that I got off the washi tape shop and just stamped the word September, the abbreviated word of September, into that sticker. I liked it so much better, and it's actually like you can actually see the name of the month. I had a lot of trouble trying to figure out what I wanted to do with this side of the Dutch door, just because I was really limited on images and this was a lot of space for me, but I think it worked out in the end. For the actual video tracker section, I'm using the same dark green combo that I used earlier throughout the setup. As I stated in other videos, this is just a checklist to help me as I'm filming, because sometimes I do film multiple videos at a time, and it's basically a simple checklist for each video that I make. And I actually added something new. I added post dates on the other side, because sometimes I'm very unorganized and I just want to have like concrete post dates for the month of September, especially since I'll be in school and I need to know when I want to post something so I could balance out that work with my schoolwork. And then on the right hand side, I am doing a simple habit tracker. On the other side of the Dutch door, I decided to sketch out and draw a lantern, because I feel like if I would have done another skull, it would have been too much. I didn't like the idea of having two skulls side by side, and since the other image was a skull, I just thought it was too much, and so I did a lantern. There were a lot of lanterns and dark imagery in a lot of my reference pictures, so I'm really glad I did this, and I loved how it turned out. next spread is my health tracker. And again, I'm just flipping through the book just to see which page fits better. I'm using another washi tape for the header, but I ended up taking that off towards the ending of the setup. My health tracker is just a place where I write down all my health goals. The actual calendar helps me keep track of my meals, just because I have a really bad habit when it comes to keeping track of my meals. See, and this is where I took off the washi tape and decided to put that image on the right side. And over here I just grabbed another piece of the page that I ripped out to put it on the other side of the corner. I felt like the bottom corner was felt too empty, and so I decided to put another page and draw another skull. I actually did add something more to this spread. I added a sketch of a candlestick on the top left corner, which you'll see again towards the ending of the video. It's just like I said, I finished the whole journal off camera because my camera just decided to stop working on me. And my last spread is my first weekly. So if you've seen my other setups, I usually do a simple rendering task list on 1 or 2 pages, depending on how busy I am that month. But this time I wanted to try something different. The 4 squares you see, I split them up by the classes that I'm taking, and personal work. So on this section that I'm drawing right now, I'm drawing an events calendar. And that's basically where I'm putting anything that's due that week for my classes or any event that I have that week. And then the 4 boxes on the actual spread, 3 of those are for my actual classes, and the 4th box is for personal work. So for inside those boxes, I'm basically gonna put actual tasks and to-do that I need to do for those specific classes, any notes that I might have for that class. So this is a new spread that I'm trying out, and if it doesn't work, then I'm ready to adjust it. And as you can see, this is where my camera shut off, and now I'm doing an actual flip through of the final product. So as you can see, this is how my cover page turned out. I added the collage, I added another sticker, and I stamped the word September on the bottom of the collage. And as you can see for my calendar spread, on the left-hand corner, the changes that I made for the title of September. And that's honestly the main change that I did for that specific spread. And for my health tracker, you could see the chandelier that I sketched on the top corner. I feel like it really completed the page, and now it doesn't really feel so empty, especially since by the end of the month this is going to be heavily doodled on, I guess. It just feels really clean right now. And this is how my final weekly turned out. I really loved how this whole theme in general turned out. I'm very excited to create the rest of the weeklies and just see this through all of September. So this is the end of the video. If you like what you saw, please click the like button, and if you want to stick around for more, please consider subscribing. And if this is where we part, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye!